International Iconic Women Awards 2023 by IWP and Project 100. I again welcome you on behalf of IWP and Project 100. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker I would like to call is from India, Dr. Captain Ritu Rajkishor Biyani. So she'll be taking us highways infinite. So can we have you here, ma'am, please? Can we have a huge round of applause for the wonderful lady?
So very happy afternoon to all of you, and I'm sure all of you all are charged after the food as well as after the dance. I would like to thank all the dignitaries and International Women Parliament and Project 100 team and all the back support for organizing such a beautiful event. And I'm sure there will be a lot of synergy and a lot of energy when we all go back home carrying with us. So my name is Dr. Capt. Ritu Biyani, and today I'm going to speak on health, women and breast cancer. I'm a dental surgeon and adventurer and cancer warrior. And so I will start my journey from the age of when I was 21. And as a dental surgeon, I joined the Olive Greens and earned my maroon beret and the wings way back, which was a road less traveled by the women in that time. It was more of medical, dental and nursing corps, where the people were joining in the army. From my community, that is the Maheshwari, Marwadi and Gujarati community, I became the first woman as well as the first person to join the Indian Armed Forces way back in 1981. When I was working as a dental surgeon, I volunteered for paratrooping, and I became the first lady paratrooper from Indian Army Dental Corps way back in '84 when I was 24 years old. So this is not to being a narcissist, but just to tell you that, yes, there were gender biases, but there were also no gender biases that time. When you are in the army, there is like the training was very rigorous, and soldiers training to test one's physical and mental endurance without any concession. It didn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. And especially when you are doing paratrooping and like when you are in special forces and all, it is not about an individual. It is not even about a man and a woman. It was the making of a daring elite breed different from all others. Because in war, there is no gender bias. When I was in Sikkim, I got passionate about the mountains and I became a mountaineer. And when I was traversing through the great Himalayas, I did feel very early in my life that I am just a small speck, a very tiny speck in this whole universe. But I also realized paradoxically that even if I was a tiny speck, I was still special, I was still unique, as all of you. Years later, when I had my adventure with breast cancer, I reminded myself, whether breast cancer or no cancer, whether I survive or not, I am still special, I am still unique. I'm still a woman, I'm still a human being. Thank you. This was way back in September 2000 when I was diagnosed, and luckily with my background and with my natural rhythm, I could confront it without shedding any tears and without getting into why me syndrome. I'm specifying this because we all are women and we often get into the mode of why me type syndrome. Ki mujhe hi kyun hua, maine aisa kya kiya and all. But it's life and you have to take it as it comes. 23 years later, you're finding me in front of you, alive, kicking and dancing with the anchor. When you talk about breast cancer, I will not go into too much of statistics about breast cancer. Most of us are aware of it. But when it comes as cancer, it's a shock. And when it comes as a breast cancer, it's like we call it a double barrel gun shots, like 2 times. Because breast is very, what do you call? It's like a self-image, it is considered as a beauty of a woman and all. And it is perceived as a threat or insult to self-image and femininity. I was lucky. I had great treatment, I had great doctors, and most of my treatment was in the defense, so I didn't have any financial burdens. But I also realized that time that the challenges on what breast cancer control is. A large number report in advanced stages. Ignorance, fears, myths, stigmas, we all are aware of it. But also I noticed that women, as women, especially in Indian culture, and I'm sure in many other countries in the same culture, women play a central role within the family, places the role of mother and a wife above the role of a woman, and a sense of self-sacrifice prevails, leading to the mothers frequently keeping the health issues low on priority. There were other barriers also, like geographical, socio-economical, healthcare, and literacy divides, which resulted in adverse disease outcome, with many women coming in advanced stages or when the disease has progressed a lot. So I decided I will use my strength. Each one of us have strength. And my strength was, I was an outdoor person, I was in the army, I had seen the geography of the country, I was a cancer warrior now, and I was also a dental surgeon. So I just mixed and matched and made a cocktail out of it. And I decided that I will drive through the entire country as much as possible and conduct cancer awareness workshops. Because if there is no awareness, if there is no knowledge, then the outcomes are very bad. So knowledge is power. It's a complex subject, but we decided to work on simple solutions to bigger problems. And I involved my 14-year-old daughter that time, who traveled with me for 4 months out of the 6 months drive, what I took. So even if I'm telling you this as my journey, you might get a lot of ideas from here, which you can implement in your own setup. So that was Project Highways 2006, where with my daughter, Tista Joseph, who was 14, we became the first mother-daughter expedition blending adventure sports with breast cancer awareness, including cervix and oral cancers across the country. Our motto was bridging grassroots, that is the healthy populace, people who didn't have cancer, and those affected with cancer to knowledge, resources, and expertise across the continuum of cancer, from prevention to end-of-life care and beyond. Geographical barriers were transcended because I'm a good driver. You just give me a good vehicle, give me a tanker of fuel, and I will keep driving for months and months and months. So these are the geographical barriers. And we always didn't have auditoriums. These are the communities. We try and reach as many communities as possible, because cancer does not see borders, and we at Highways Infinite don't see borders. Just a glimpse of some workshops. Because of the language and literacy barriers and cultural barriers, we used a lot of prints, and whatever was spoken was shown through the pictures, because pictures are often remembered. And it helped even the local translators, because a lot of them know Hindi and the Bollywood this thing, so they could translate it. Where there were no roads, but there were communities far beyond that, we tracked. So these are some of the top one is the last village in Northeast. 30,220 kilometers in 177 days, conducting 140 workshops, first time in India, even globally, which went into, twice into Limca Book of Records. And that became a platform for us to progress further and for many, many people to take up such cases. Our vision is to change the mindset of people, enhance help-seeking behavior, to help reduce the incidence of advanced cancer cases, and celebrate survivorship, which I called as Ay Zindagi. Often breast cancer is tagged with only women, but we ensured that we included men in it, because breast cancer also can happen to men, though it is very less. But much more important for us was, in Indian culture, a lot of women depend on the men to take them to doctors. So we wanted to sensitize the men. So it was like empowering them also and sensitizing them also, that tomorrow if they find anything amongst their women, they should be able to take them to doctors in time. We even reach out to youth and teaching staff, and also the providers and administrators, because this way the spin-off is, the impetus is generated, and more people will take this forward. I was also fortunate, maybe because of my army background, I didn't feel so scared, but I also conducted workshops in many socially unrest areas, and even in very difficult areas. Sometimes I was a guest of army. Through them I was conducting workshops, and because I was a guest of army, I used to have a protection party, and I used to laugh at myself that I'm talking about a disease which does not see any border, but here people are fighting on borders for whatever reasons. Had an opportunity to go abroad many times to share my work, get ideas also, and share my work. And we also had people coming from Australia, breast cancer survivors, who took 2 expeditions We did bike expeditions and all. This was, of course, to show that there is life after cancer and you can live the way you want to live. Trekked the Siachen Glacier in 2012 to celebrate my 12th diagnosis year of anniversary, and also conducted workshops for the soldiers there, because when the soldiers go back home, they will be taking the message back home to their families. These are some of the places, some 2,600 workshops. So current status is, if you see, though the treatment has improved a lot and people are becoming aware. Last two slides. It's about 13.5 of all cancers are breast cancer. But the alarming thing, what is happening in our country, and I'm sure it's happening in other countries, is the incidence is increasing. The number of cases are increasing. And in India, more and more younger generation or more and more younger women are getting affected with cancer. For me, all this was not to show that I am at par or equal or below or above men. I did it because I wanted to do it, and I believed in what I was doing. So for me, probably it was not a gender bias. I know there is still a lot of work, and still there are miles to go under the blue skies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful journey that you shared across, and we are very, very inspired that we need not stop anywhere. We need to just fight all the situations and go ahead in life. Thank you so much, ma'am.